Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm here at the secret garden party in a secret location, and I'm part of the Bohemian Artist tent, and tonight I'm going to be painting live portraits of people from the festival who want to get painted. Now I'm just going to go out, get myself some breakfast, have a look around the festival, and do a landscape painting as well, because it's quite nice and sunny today. And it's quite a picturesque place that this festival's taking place in, so I'm gonna do a painting. I'm also here with a few other artists. Alex Travaras, who is quite big on YouTube. He's got the channel Simplified Drawing and Painting, and he's the guy who sort of organised this Bohemian Artist tent. Also Christina Verasari and Nick Bashel, who are both really excellent painters. So I camped here last night, and a lot of people out here camping, and I actually bought my hat from this shop just up ahead. See a lot of interest in costumes, so I can see a food option here up ahead. I had a Bloody Mary. So I'm going to paint this scene behind me. I think it's quite iconic of the festival. We've got this tent which is just hustling with people. I thought about doing a painting of a lot of the campsite, but I think that's just quite a lot of details. So I think I'm going to focus in on this tent and paint some people in the foreground as well. I'm painting on a gesso primed panel that I've toned to a light grey. Here I'm starting by sketching the big overall shapes of my composition, starting with this large marquee in the centre of my painting. Using thinned down raw umber paint, I'm also filling in a few of the darkest areas in my painting to bring my undersketch to a closer visual representation of the scene, as it's easier for the human eye to distinguish shapes when they're filled in with separate values rather than just looking at lines. For this reason, the closer your painting gets to how the scene appears in nature, the easier it is to distinguish any mistakes with your drawing. I've also quickly sketched in the shapes for the clouds using ultramarine blue, and I'm now painting in the sections of blue sky around them. To make this colour mix, I'm using a colour mix of cerulean blue, titanium white, and a small touch of yellow ochre. To paint this marquee, I start with the ends, which have a slightly different colour than the middle section, which is bright white. These areas at the ends have a slightly warm beige yellowish colour to them. To paint the light areas of the clouds, I use titanium white with a small touch of yellow ochre, and to paint the dark sections of the clouds, I'm using a colour mix of raw umber, ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson and titanium white with a very small touch of yellow ochre, making a light grey which is slightly purple in hue. I'm also designing the clouds so that the dark sections silhouette the marquee to help bring more of a pop to the light value of the marquee, as due to simultaneous contrast, light areas which are surrounded by dark areas appear even lighter, and also just by silhouetting the marquee against the dark sections of the clouds,
It adds a bit more clarity to my composition. To paint the rails of clothes on sale in the tent, I'm adding simple vertical dashes of paint in a variety of colours for the different tops and dresses. For the grass, I'm using a colour mix of yellow ochre, ultramarine blue, and a small touch of permanent green, cadmium red and titanium white. The small amount of red that I add to the colour mix helps me control the chroma of the green and prevent the grass looking like fluorescent toxic waste, as red is basically the opposite of green, so when mixed together they make a brownish grey, and for this reason the amount of red paint that I add to this mix is very small, as if I add too much then the grass would look too dull. But the common mistake when painting green grass is for people to paint it as a far too chromatic green. I'm now starting to add some people to the scene. Often when painting figures into a landscape, I would paint the whole scene first and then add some figures at the end to add a bit of visual interest to a few areas. However, in this case, the figures take up a significant amount of space in the middle section of the painting, so much so that for me to paint all the stands and signs behind them would be nearly impossible due to the massive figures constantly passing through this section. Also, all of these figures with their costumes add a nice bit of colour to the painting, as well as the energy and life of the festival, which is what I'm trying to capture in paint. Here I've added some more light dashes of a warmer yellowish green paint mix to the foreground grass, and a few dark accents to bring this area into sharper focus, which helps add more depth to the scene, as the foreground details need to be sharper in focus with more contrast than areas further in the distance in order to create this effect. If you enjoyed this video, please do give me a thumbs up and let me know in the comments. You can also subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with my new videos, and I really appreciate it. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at George Frederick Thomas to keep up to date with my latest paintings. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.